Good morning, it's actually a Tuesday. I'm acting like I'm vlogging right now, but we're doing a sit down video today. I'm gonna do a little catch up. I asked you guys on my Instagram just to ask me anything that you guys wanted to ask, and I put together a list of like kind of the more repetitive questions, so let's get to it. Before we dive into today's video though, I do want to say a huge shout out to BetterHelp. They have actually been a sponsor for me for quite some time. I've been a client of theirs since I want to say like 2020. Basically, BetterHelp is a therapy option for people who are looking for convenience, affordability. Today's traditional therapy is just ridiculous in terms of price, cost, and the effort that it takes to find the proper therapist. Like it's so involved going back and forth to the therapist's office. BetterHelp makes it super easily accessible for everyone, which I think is such an awesome concept. And like I said, I've been a client of theirs for a while now, and I've only had amazing experiences with them. You can do a little quiz and then they will match you to the right therapist depending on what exactly you're looking for. If you don't like your therapist, or if you want to switch for whatever reason, they make it super easy to go ahead and do that as well, and then you have your option to choose whichever therapist you want. It's like you're in control, which I love. And then they do a monthly subscription instead of per session basis, which makes it also super easy, and you can get to your therapist via chat, video call, phone, what have you, however you want to chat. It's so easy, it's super convenient. I think therapy is something that everyone should partake in, like going to the doctor to get an annual checkup. You should be taking care of your mental health, so I'm all for BetterHelp. They're all licensed professionals that you're dealing with as well, so you're not compromising on the quality of the care that you're receiving. So I will link them down below for you guys. You can click on the link in my description box or go to betterhelp.com/ReneeAmberg, and they're giving you guys 10% off of your first month. So huge shout out to them for sponsoring today's video. In honor of their sponsor, we're gonna do a little catch-up chat. I'm gonna go ahead and dive into our questions. First question that I was getting a lot of is, are we married? Do we want kids? When's the next kid coming? A lot of you guys probably see this ring here in particular. It is on my ring finger. I've had it since last Christmas. It's not a wedding ring. We are not married. We do plan on getting married in the future, but Z and I's relationship was such a unique situation. Like, we didn't really get to know each other, and then we had a kid, so we wanted to like get to know each other and make sure that if we're getting married, we're getting married for the right reasons. It's definitely going to be in our future at some point, but we didn't want to get married only because we had a kid. We had a lot of build up to do in terms of our relationship before we jumped into that, but he did get me this ring for Christmas as a family commitment. It is actually of these like olive leaf branches, which was part of Bryson's original nursery. And then Bryson was born on October 25th, which is also Picasso's birthday, and this is like a Picasso collection. So it all represents Bryson and our family, so it is a beautiful thing. And actually, when I first got it, I wore it on my right hand, and Zander's like, I meant for it to be on your left hand. I'm like, okay. But no, we are not married. Do we see it in the future? Of course. We just want to do it the right way. And then as for kids, I had opened up a little bit to you guys about wanting to have another baby pretty soon. We've been talking about it. I would love to have a sibling for Bryson, and I think this is a really good age. He just turned 1. Also getting kind of back on track, and I'm like starting to kind of feel more myself right now, so thinking about possibly getting back in that loop and that crazy world is like a lot. So I don't know, like I really want it, but when I think about it, I'm like, that's kind of a lot. Do I actually? I don't know. We're talking about it, but it's not like anything that we've come up with a like, you know, dead set date of like, yeah, we're gonna do this. A lot of you guys also asked me, why am I on Instagram again? I was having a very unhealthy relationship with Instagram, but I felt like I was missing communication with you guys, and also this creative like photography that I originally liked Instagram for. I hate Instagram now, like the way it is in terms of shorts and ads, but I needed to take that necessary break, I think, for me to just use it for what I'm supposed to use it for. I don't scroll, I don't really follow anyone or like look at other people's stories. If I want to be in contact with one of my friends or something, like I can have an actual conversation with them. It doesn't need to be on Instagram. It's like such a hard thing on Instagram because you're bombarded with the ads and the scrolling and the temptation. I just now go on it knowing that I don't want any part of that part of it, and it's more so like I'm kind of taking control of it. Before, I wasn't really doing that, and I was getting mad at the app for doing that, but it was on me. So I just needed to spend time away from it, realize how great life is without it, and then once I was able to get back on, I'm like, okay, I can enjoy this part of it without getting tempted with all these things being flown in my face, because I know what it feels like to not have that, and I'd rather just not. Does that make sense? Also, why are we moving? Moving away from our family. Why North Carolina? Zander's job. So I'll hop on the bandwagon of Zander's job real quick. He works remote, but he works for a very big company that has offices pretty much in like every major city. So we were super lucky and blessed to be able to have options to move. Why North Carolina? Florida is always gonna be my home. I love Florida, but it's so expensive here right now, and the market is actually insane. And for what we're paying for a 5-bedroom with like land, we have multiple acres. Someone came up to us at a pool party the other day and they were like, oh, why didn't you tell me? I could have gotten you a townhome. And I'm like, for the, I don't know, like you just get more for your money in North Carolina. It's a little bit more of a simple, slower paced life. That little southernness in terms of charm and like the way people interact is a little bit different, and I'm excited to raise a family there. So it's more so just what you can get there and the kind of lifestyle for our future family. That's why. And then moving away from family, I touched on that in a vlog. I don't want to go into it too much because it's kind of a lot, so I will pop that vlog up here if you guys are interested in that. A lot of people ask me how tall I was and how tall Zander was. So I'm actually 5'7". I'm a tall person. Zander is 6'6", and his family is like all over 6 foot. His brother's like 6'8". Like they are actually so tall. So when I'm around their family, I'm like the short one, which is weird because usually I'm the tall one. Dealing with family fights, like do Z and I fight, or like how we get over that. And with a baby, it's hard. You know, your head's butt, but then you also have this child running around that you're dealing with. You have like lack of sleep. Like obviously there's gonna be struggles that come up. It's just how you handle them. So it's hard. I recommend always like a third party. Therapy is a great option. We've definitely been down that route. We really do have the same goals, and we are great people, but we are very headstrong, and so there are problems. Obviously, remember your why and just know that these moments and these situations are temporary, and a lot of things go into the way that you are as a person when you're communicating with a baby. Like I said, there's sleep deprivation, there's time management that you're not able to get, like you don't have your alone time, you don't feel yourself, you're not able to get the proper health and nutrition that you used to get pre-baby, and so that all affects the way that you're communicating. These bad moments that I've had, I think everyone can say that they've had a bad moment before. Mutual understanding of the long term rather than just these like short-term bursts of like chaos. VLOGMAS. I would love to do VLOGMAS. My goal is to do it. I'm not going to put pressure on myself to like do every single day. I'm in the process of looking for a nanny. Hopefully by the time I move we can get that help, because that would be tremendous, and if not, I'll just work around it and do the best that I can. I'm not putting pressure, but I definitely want to document, especially with all this crazy fun stuff coming up in terms of the move and moving out of state. Bryson's technical first Christmas, he was in the hospital last Christmas, so yeah, I definitely want to document this. A lot of people are saying like, how are you? Like a mental health update. Somebody actually said that I really liked, what are your 3 main goals right now? Such an awesome question. Comment down below yours. I want to do like a fun chat. What are your 3 top goals that you're working on right now? For me, it would be VLOGMAS, New Year content, and then moving. And moving in terms of like renovations and ideas and just kind of getting settled. That's kind of my 3 main goals right now. And how am I doing? I'm actually really good. I'm really happy. I feel like there's a lot to look forward to that's exciting, but I know that there's going to be a lot of work and craziness surrounding that, but I'm kind of ready. I'm ready. I feel very eager. Someone asked me when, like, or how you experience peace from loss. I dealt with a lot of loss, actually, and all unique different types of losses. Like, I've dealt with my dad, who passed away very suddenly, like overnight, and then I've dealt with losing a dog of 1 year to cancer. So unfortunate and such a random fluke of the universe. I've dealt with loss of, I would say, pregnancy in terms of, you know, I would say a healthy pregnancy, the loss of being able to have a baby come home healthily. Like there's a lot of just these like, you know, I would put them in the category of loss. You're gonna hate this, but it's time. It's time. Like, you just have to be patient. Someone had told me when I lost my dad that when you experience loss or death or anything that you have to grieve over, it doesn't ever go away. Like, it's always on your mind. Like, you always have it in your life now. You kind of like rebuild around it. That was like the perfect way that I can explain loss, and that takes time. Okay, so I don't really want to talk about this too much because it's my past, but a lot of people were asking me about like my breakup. I was in a 10-year relationship. When did I realize? Out of respect for him, I don't want to go too in depth with it, and I'm so far from that right now. But that was more of a struggle with myself than I think it was with a relationship. Like, I knew I wasn't happy. I knew I wanted to change, but I just never took that step. And I was so fearful of, like, I guess loss too, right? So you get comfortable, and I never felt confident enough to take those steps and listen to my gut, but I created so much pain in my life and resistance and just annoyance, honestly, because of that. The longer you stay in it, the harder it's going to be for you to convince yourself that you deserve better. I think breakups, a lot of people relate it to the relationship, but it's very much like an internal self thing. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about that. What happened to my friends? Look, after having a baby, your priorities shift, and I didn't have the best people around me. They didn't make me better. When I got pregnant specifically, I started seeing people like leave my life, and I asked God to show me. And through this whole journey of becoming a mom, like, I've lost a lot of people. I'm okay with that. The fact that not that I don't care, the fact that it doesn't hurt me as much as I thought it would makes me feel like that was fine. Like, I got rid of a lot of toxicity in my life, and there's some people who, like, we just grew apart and it wasn't necessarily anything like crazy, but the fact that I'm not like craving that relationship tells me enough about that relationship. Does that make sense? Like, no ill will towards these people at all. Always have love for them. Like, I always say, if I loved you before, like, I will love you always, and you will always have a place in my heart. And if you ever need anything, you can always reach out. But I just don't have time for certain things, like drama, that I don't know. Like, I have a lot of good people coming into my life, and I think with this move too, like, it's going to open so many doors to community. There's lots of shifting happening, and I'm okay with it. Like, nothing bad, just all good. And then someone asked me about no drinking. I always say I'm not going to drink, and then I'll have wine, and then like I'll post about drinking, and they're like, you said you're not drinking. It's kind of like Instagram, right? Like, I'm done with social media. I come up with these drastic conclusions as to what I'm gonna do, and it's such a perfectionist thing of me. I'm a very black and white thinker, and that's a huge thing I learned in actual therapy, is that I need to think more gray. Instead of giving myself like an ultimatum of like yes or no, just limiting and being aware and listening to your body and the universe and God about where you want to be in your life and what makes sense for you in that moment. When I say no to things, I feel like it almost makes me want it more because I'm like restricting it. So yeah, I just say everything in moderation, including moderation. So yeah, that's on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this little catch up. I'm excited to read your 3 top main goals, see where you guys are in your life. So definitely comment that down below. This was fun. Let's do this often. I love you guys so much. See you soon.